cases. Better slow it down. Cold cases. The cases are cold. Cause people get lazy. Old. Hey, cold. 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 Cold cases. Cold cases. Cold cases. Sometimes the cases get closed. Sometimes they get cold. However, we are here to tackle these cases one by one. Basically, what I see right here is someone done listening to this group. There was a group trying to get this person to, obey them. All right, this person is done obeying the group. For a while, this person was obeying the group, going with what they said. This could be a cult. This could just be a group of just a weird family. All right, since the age of 6, these people could be, what I'm picking up is, foster parents turned, adoptive parents. Okay. Yeah, something. Okay, so whoever this is, they were adopted. I don't know why this is significant. This is a cold case, so this is significant. This person was adopted when they were 6 years old. Okay. Yeah, this person was adopted when they were 6 years old. Okay. They were adopted into a family that wanted them to obey them. Obey me. You do as I say. They were adopted into this family and treated like crap. Okay? Yes, that's what I'm hearing. They were adopted into a family and treated like crap. All right? Very heavy mental manipulation taking place with this family. Okay? This family had a nanny maid, treated this person really, really bad, is what I'm picking up on. Okay, so yeah, they treated the person really bad, kind of like the way they treated to the public when they went out on different occasions and things like that. They treated this child that they adopted like, they were their child. But behind closed doors, they didn't treat this child like it was their child. Okay? This could definitely be a man. Okay? This man could be a different ethnicity than this family. So this family adopted this child. This child could be Mexican. They could have gotten adopted into a white family. Okay? That's what I'm picking up on, family. All right, that's the truth. Okay, so this person got adopted into this white family. All right, yeah, Ace of Swords, like I said, that's the truth. That's the truthist. Someone's name could be Rufus. Okay, but continuing on, this man got adopted when he was 6 years old into this white family. Okay, this white family had a maid, a nanny that they treated like shit. Really, really bad. Treated them bad. Treated her bad. She was a female. Treated her really bad. Okay? She did everything for the family, but she was treated bad. She was also abused, physically abused. Okay? This story is around this nanny that was physically abused. Okay? Very abused. Treated horrible. This lady's birthday could have been this lady's birthday could have been in November. Okay, this lady that passed away, this is a cold case. This lady that passed away, she was a high priestess. Okay, so she was knowing. She knew what was to come when it came to her life. All right, she knew what was to come. She didn't understand is what I'm picking up on. Something about this child getting it. So she looked after this child because, again, they treated him horrible. So when the family was away, when they were out with their kids on vacation, okay, because they would leave this child home. Okay, so it was for show and tell, just the games we play. So they were showing and telling. They just adopted this child just for show and tell, just so they could get, those, oh, you're so sweet, you're so kind for doing what you did for, Jose, you're so kind, you know what I'm saying, you're just so kind, your whole family, y'all are an angel. Meanwhile, in the background, they was treating old Jose, little Jose, they was treating him like crap. Okay, stop playing with me. They was treating Jose like crap. Okay, talking about him, his color. Okay, talking about where he came from. All right, yeah, they were treating him like crap. They really adopted Jose for, again, for the appearance, I just heard escargot, whatever that means. They adopted Jose because of the things that they were able to get with adopting him. First, they had him as a foster child, and they were getting whatever they were getting from the state. Then they said they were going to adopt him, and then they were still able to, get money off of Jose. Okay? However, they did have a nanny. Okay? All right, something happened when Jose was 16 years old. They lost the nanny, okay? Then they ruled it as natural causes. You feel me? Because the nanny was older. She got old. She went into grew old and sick. She could barely even walk and things like that. So they ruled, and then this nanny had no family. Let them tell it. Because they took her, the family took the nanny to the morgue and all that shit. This lady had a family. Okay? So this lady never made it home. She was buried. She worked here. She was buried. Okay? She was buried. Okay? No, she was cremated. Excuse me, sorry. She was cremated. They hurry up and cremated her. All right? Yeah, stop playing. Ace of Swords. Why? Because she had all types of bruises on her. They were bruising her up. They were beating this woman that was taking care of them, taking care of their kids. They were beating her. All right. She was enduring the pain. She had a family to take care of. All right. This nanny would stay with this family. Okay. 6 months out of the year. And then go back to her family. So 6 months out of the year she's staying. And then she go back for I don't know if she goes back for 6 months or she go back for 2 months and then come back for 6. However it goes, but I know 6 months out of the year straight she was staying with this family. Okay? So this lady could have came from overseas. Okay? Yeah. Could have came from overseas and worked for this family. This lady could have had a visa to work, something like that, to be able to come over here and work. She worked for a wealthy family. All right. Mind you, this wealthy family, this family that has some type of money, some type of resources. Okay. They also were adopting kids and fostering kids. They fostered Jose. I keep saying Jose. This man's name could be Jose. They keep fostering Jose. And no, I'm not saying Jose because he's Hispanic, but that's just the name that's coming to me, family. They fostered Jose. All right. So she's over here in the U.S. for 6 months she's been doing this for a while. While she's over here, she's getting beat by this family. Abused, neglected, getting paid little to nothing. They, had this Jose. They met him 6 years old. Okay. Or no, they met him before he was 6. They adopted him when he was 6 years old. Okay. And they abused him. Just like they abused this lady. The lady from the other country that came to work for this family, this lady knew that this family was abusive. Again, she knew that before they adopted Jose, she knew that this family was abusive. So she treated him, stop playing, Star. She treated him with extra love. Okay? Yeah. She treated him with extra love. She nurtured him. So this lady, okay, she could be African, from another country. She's black. She could be Jamaican. Came over here to the United States to work for a family that has money. The family were abusing her. The family adopted Jose. Jose was getting abused. This lady was getting abused. She was nurturing Jose. She knew that this man, these people was abusing her. Specifically the man. I just said the man. So this man could have been sexually abusing Jose, is what I'm picking up on. Yes, the father was sexually abusing Jose. So this lady was the nanny, the maid, was giving him extra care because she knew what was going on. She knew he was getting abused. I don't know for a fact if she knew he was getting sexually abused, but she knew he was getting abused. Okay? Yeah. So they ruled her death as a, dying of old age. But there's secrets to this story. Okay? The secrets to this story is this lady was getting abused. She didn't just die of old age. She died of, hold on, family. She died. I felt, I paused this video, and I paused the video because I felt like something crawling up my back. Okay. And then I went to rub my back, and then I start feeling it, crawling up the back of my leg. Okay. So I was like, whoa, what the heck? All right. So it went, the sensation went from my back to my leg. So this lady could have been something about her legs, one of her legs, they could have broke one of her legs, something about her back. She was hunched over like this, something about webs and things like that on her back and things of that nature. Okay. She could have been getting sexually abused as well. Okay. Again, she ends up dying. They end up ruling it, natural causes. Jose, 16 years old. She dies when she died when he was 16. She died when he was 16. He ran away. Jose ran away after this lady died. Not right after. It took a little time, but then he ran away. All right, he ran away. He couldn't live he couldn't live. They lying. You know what I'm saying? They lying. He's like, all they gonna do is go hire someone else, bring someone else in from overseas, and then abuse them as well. Okay, that's what they did. All right, don't listen to him. He gets older. Jose gets older. Give me some more on Jose, spirit. Something happens in Jose gets older. Jose gets older. Jose runs away from this family. King of Pentacles energy. Jose leaves this family and becomes the King of Pentacles. Very wealthy. Okay? Very wealthy. Money. Okay? Financially. But it wasn't no money as family money. My family had money. It was no. Jose had to do what he had to do to get the money. And what do I mean? He worked his ass off to get the money. Alright? But Jose never forgot about his nanny. The maid. That cared for him like a mother, like a grandmother. He never forgot about her. He always had her on his mind. The whole time he was working, he had this lady on his mind. Yeah, she was like family to him. He walked away from this weird family. This is him walking away, running away. He ran away. Okay, 16. Remember, they had adopted him. He ran away, though. He couldn't take it. Hierophant in reverse. This family is Hierophant in reverse. Okay, it's a cult. A very dark, sick cult. Again, Jose was getting sexually abused by the father, okay, of the cult. The father of the cult, he was getting sexually abused. Okay, the father of the cult liked boys. Okay? Trigger warning, family. That's the truth. The father of this cult liked little boys. Alright? So Jose is older. Again, financially successful. Okay? Jose's out and about and he sees one of these people. He sees the daughter. They had a daughter that they birthed. He sees her. She's looking at him nasty. She's giving him evil looks. Okay? Like, you look familiar. Jose's the emperor now. Emperor and the King of Pentacles. So he sees his, sister. Okay? Yeah. Queen of Swords. He sees his sister. These are siblings. They're siblings. Alright? But you can see the difference. Okay? She came from the family. He was adopted into the family. She sees him in public. He is the emperor. He is the King of Pentacles. He is successful. He is able to fight back now. Alright? So he decides to fight back. Okay? Because his family is still... These people are still alive. They're older, but they're still alive. So he has decided to open up this case. Open up the case again. We opening up the case because for years, this family continuing today still. Now the sister is having freaking... Now she's adopting kids. Now she's having... She's having foster kids and shit. Just keeping the shit going. This is a sick fuckers. That's what they are. They're a bunch of sick ass people. Okay? And she's sick as well. Okay? Jose meets with a lawyer. We need to open up a case. Jose meets with a child care lawyer, something like that. We need to open up a case on this family. Okay? Yeah, we need to open up the case on this family. And he could have ran into this sister after he left after he left the courts. Okay, to open up, to talk about these people. To talk about these people that have been able to adopt kids for years. That have been able to have kids as freaking foster kids who've been fostering kids in their cult. And they've been sexually assaulting, sexually harassing, sexually manipulating these children. Alright? For years. And they have been able to keep doing this shit. So Jose is fighting back the system that broke him. That harmed him. Okay? The system that left him down and out. The system that turned their back on him. The system that let a sick ass family adopt him and sexually assault him. Okay? And on top of that, beat and abuse their nanny. Beat and abuse their maid to her life. Okay? Losing her life. And not even telling her people in the other country back home that she was dead. She just never showed back up. So them people still to this day probably still wondering where their grandma is. Wondering what happened to their mama, their auntie, their cousin. Still wondering. She went to America for a job and never came home. Because a sick American family beat her. So the case is getting opened back up. Not open. Yeah, her case. That they ruled as old age and shit like that. No. It's not an old age case. This lady was beat to her offing. She was beat to her ending. That's what this was. To her eyes protruding out of her head and shit. When they got the body, it's how she looked. And then the coroner ruled it as a natural cause. How you gonna rule this as natural causes and her eyes are protruding out of her head? How do you rule that as natural causes? Y'all all with the shit. Y'all all into it. Okay? That's really what it's given. They're all involved in the situation. So this case is being opened back up. Okay? Cold case. Okay? that they ruled as a, dying of natural causes, getting opened back up because the little Jose that grew up and became the emperor, decided to fight back the system that failed him.